Hello everybody, welcome back to the daily RuneScape Catalyst League Relic reveals and teasers. We're on day 13 here, so there's only one more time after this you're going to hear my voice before the league begins. Yesterday, of course, we were treated to every single passive coming out at every tier of the league. Some incredibly juicy stuff in here, like getting those movement cooldowns and the Gate of Elidinus unlocked pretty early. A lot of these passives even more powerful, a lot of you were agreeing, than some of the relics at each of these tiers, but it should be a great time. We're going to have a maximum of 16x multiplied XP, and also 6 times drops. Before we start though, at today's reveal, just a quick look at the FAQ, there is one new thing today. Production Master will not allow you to smith multiple items at the same time. It's going to be probably tier 4 for Production Master, so if you're thinking about taking that, it is looking a lot worse than it was before. I'm also imagining it's probably not going to work with construction. You're not going to be able to take Production Master and instantly complete any building in the fort. But yeah, it's not going to make smithing instant. So for those of you thinking you can take that and immediately get like 110 smithing and go straight to primal equipment, it's not really going to help with smithing at all. It is worth mentioning though, Production Master does give you that Brooch of the Gods and does give you smithing urns, so you will get 20% more smithing XP from it. Today, we're going to have a brand new relic called Everlasting Faith. We'll look at that in a second. And tomorrow, they're going to fully reveal, as we've been saying throughout this whole journey, the full table of relics and where everything goes. So we'll be 100% sure where every relic is going to fit into every tier. And then we also know all the passives and the multipliers we'll be getting at every tier as well. And of course, the easy and medium task list is already out on the wiki page, so if you really want to sweat, you can pretty much decide how your first few days of play are going to go. But today we have our third and final tier 7 combat relic coming out called Everlasting Faith. Prayer points will no longer drain, really nice, you can just have unlimited prayer. Prayer points no longer draining, of course, also works with skilling prayers, so not just for combat, you know. If you're not going Divine Woodcutter at tier 1, you could get the Chronicle Attraction prayer through, I think, one of the tiers. You unlock the Light Within quest and all the spell books and prayer books, so you'll eventually at some point get all the skilling prayers and they'll be free. You won't need the Grace of the Elves and the Dark Onyx Core. Protection and deflection prayers now block 50% of damage. Sorry, what does that mean? But that's how they work anyway. Is this a typo again? Have they just... Are they saying protection and deflection block 50% more damage? Because they already block 50% damage. That's how the prayers work. You'll also get 1 free resurrection on death with a 5-minute cooldown. Now, as you can see here in the video, if you watch, the guy dies and he just gets back to full health. So it doesn't send you to Death's office, it doesn't send you to your respawn point, it just resurrects you on the spot to full health every 5 minutes. So it's kind of like a sign of life. I'm hoping this will also stack with the sign of life and it won't waste the cooldown of that, because of course you will get that passively with a, I think, 30-minute cooldown when you get 99 defense and you get the defense skill cape, which should be quite fast for everyone in the league. But that's kind of interesting. So let's take a look at this. On the actual blog, maybe the wording makes more sense. Yeah, as you can see, your prayers are answered. Infinite prayer, a second life, and 100% protection prayers, which basically means you're going to have the devotion spell on at all times. In the regular game, protection prayers only block 50% of incoming damage. Unless you have an Amulet of Souls or Powder of Protection active, then it's 60%, or it's 100% if you use an ability called Devotion, or if the effect of the perk on your armor called Devoted or Enhanced Devoted turns on Devotion for free every now and then. So that's kind of nice. You'll have unlimited prayer points if you take Everlasting Faith. You'll get that revive every 5 minutes, a second life. Now this could be really good if you're at bosses that have insta-kill mechanics. It depends, because there's certain effects in the game that insta-kill you through, like Sign of Life or Ring of Death or whatever. So hopefully this is just like a real hard second life and it will always proc on all mechanics. But maybe, you know, if you're doing like Enraged Telos or something and you get to the point where he can one-shot you and that'll not only kill you but you'll lose your entire kill streak's worth of loot, having this second life with only a 5-minute cooldown could be really good. And 100% protection prayers, so they'll block all damage providing you do the correct prayer for the thing you're up against, and they don't do any like pure damage or things that pierce prayer. But not only that, your protection prayers and curses also act as Soul Split being active. Now for those of you who somehow don't know, Soul Split is a curse on the ancient spellbook, and basically you can choose to have this on instead of a protection prayer, and what it does, it gives you some life steal based on the damage you do, but of course you'll be taking more incoming damage if you have this on. unless you're prayer flicking, because you won't be deflecting at the same time. So normally in the game you have to choose between protection or soul split or do some prayer flicking, but this thing makes your protections 100% effective all the time, and you also, if you have a protection prayer or deflection curse on, it will act as though you also have soul split being on at the same time. Prayer will also be free, and if somehow through all that you also die, you'll get a free revive every 5 minutes. It says it doesn't work in PvP, which is odd. I mean, PvP's off by default. I guess you could technically opt in the league if you want to. I don't know, organise a PvP event with some other players and try and kill them with your relic powers or something, but by default PvP is off in the wilderness. This is very, very interesting. The only place this could currently fit in the relic tier list is either in tier 6 if there happens to be a third slot up against Perfection and Banker's Note, which it certainly won't be in there because it doesn't make sense. And the only other spot this can go, of course, is the third choice in tier 7 up against Specialist and Ascension. Now this one I think is a little bit of a sleeper pick. It's not going to give you any more damage. There's no scenario where this gives you any more DPS. I mean, technically it means you don't need any prayer potions, but don't forget there is a shop in the league that sells super restores, and the guy that sells the super restores is also a bank, and he has infinite stock. So if you can get some money, you can buy infinite super restores and bank them even without Banker's Note. So getting prayer points is not going to be an issue at all. Compared to the other two, this is very cool, but the other two do give you a lot of free damage. This one, completely defensive. Maybe for more kind of entry-level players, this would be really good because you'll be able to keep yourself alive. One thing, though, you could use this for potentially if you do have an Eldritch crossbow or you're using Necromancy and you do have the Split Soul incantation. I guess you'll have Soul Split active at all times, so it'll make your Split Soul damage be able to be used at all times. Not entirely sure how that works, but maybe it'll just allow you to use Split Soul while also deflecting or protecting. But outside of that, this is a purely defensive choice. So yeah, you're not going to need any prayer ever for anything. That's kind of useful if you maybe put Imp Sold 6 or something on a tool that's not one of the gathering choices you pick at tier 1. You know, you could get that 12% chance to bank things at no prayer cost. Honestly, this one for me, very underwhelming, but I think maybe if you're new to RS3 and not that confident and you're not that interested about picking the other two, this could be a really good crutch to just get you through the harder PVM. But I do think will already be really powerful because obviously at tier 7 we'll already have picked our primary combat style. Maybe you're going melee, you'll already have 10% lifesteal. Whatever style you pick, you'll also have 100% hit chance. Don't forget at this point, obviously you'll be 26,000 points into the league. You'll also hit that 16 times multiplier, so you'll almost certainly have 99 defense, or at least close to it by the time you reach this, so you'll be kind of tanky anyway. I mean, this will be really good, don't get me wrong. If you want to do like hard mode or Mascot and you want this big safety net where every single kill you're not only going to get a free death, but you're going to be able to have Soul Split on always while protecting against some kind of combat style. But I do think the other two do a lot more damage, which might help you kill bosses faster and be at less risk of dying. I mean, if we just compare this real quick to the other two choices that are likely in this tier at number 7, we've of course got Specialist. Even if you don't know what you're doing with the game, you can just right click your amulet, put in some kind of damaging special attack, and then every 15 seconds when your next spec is free, just click on your amulet on one of your action bars and just do a big damage special, and you get a necklace with really good combat stats. And then of course the other choice, the first tier 7 that we saw, Ascension, is going to give you all the god books, it's going to give you crit chance, and it's occasionally going to put all your combat stats to 255. Now if you're using this with Soul Split turned on, yes, you're not going to have protection prayers also on blocking all damage, but with these two other ones you're going to be doing so much more DPS that if you do turn on Soul Split, you'll be doing a lot more lifesteal anyway, which might keep you alive. Personally, I think Ascension and Specialist are both more exciting than this new one, but a very interesting casual choice. I do like the idea of having no prayer drain, but I feel like that fits into a relic that's maybe a little bit earlier than this one, because honestly the prayer drain in RS3, if you're coming from old school, is a lot lower anyway. You probably get like a good 2 or 3 minutes out of a full bar of prayer with all the best prayers on anyway, and you can buy prayer pots in the league from a guy who's also a shop and will have infinite stock. This one's just going to be interesting. Like I say, if you want to play this way, I can totally see it. It's going to make your gaming like completely AFK. I mean, if you think about it, any Slayer task, any monster, if they only attack with one combat style, you can just walk to that task, pray that thing, it'll block 100% of damage, and then you won't have to like look at the game, especially if you've got like an aggression potion or something. You can just fully AFK every task as long as they only attack with one style, and even if they don't, you're going to be blocking the damage from one of their styles and also life stealing at the same time for free. And then if if you do happen to die, of course, you'll come back every 5 minutes. So a very, very nice defensive choice, but it's weird that it's against two other choices that give you so much free damage, and this one literally gives you none. So a bit of a weird one. Almost certainly going to be tier 7 with the other two we have seen before. You'll already have access to Soul Split if you do have the prayer level, because you get that for free at tier 6, but this one will, like I say, probably be here at tier 7. Interesting. Let me know if you can find a use for this. I mean, don't get me wrong, unlimited prayer points will be a nice convenience, but it's certainly not needed. Of course, there's an altar at War's Retreat that you can just teleport to, or if you're going Banker's Note, then you could, I guess, bring prayer pots everywhere. Also, if you're going Perfection, you won't need to put Enhanced Devoted and Devoted on your armor with this. I guess you could put something, I guess, like Lucky 6 or something. Completely defensive choice here at tier 7 up against two highly damaging other choices, which will themselves keep you alive as well, just because you're going to do more DPS to the boss. But this will be really, really nice for fully AFK playing the league. But this is at tier 7, so if you're a full AFK type player, you might not get to this point for like the first few weeks of the league anyway. Let me know what you guys think about this. Anyway, guys, here's the table as I imagine it's going to be shown tomorrow. As you can see, we've put here all the tier values, and as you can see here, we finally filled in the last slot at the end, with Everlasting Faith being up against both the Special Attack Relic and the God Books Relic, and we're assuming that tier 6 is just a two-way choice between Banker's Note and the Perk Mania. So an interesting final one, maybe slightly underwhelming, but either one of these three choices at tier 7 will be game-changing. Don't forget being able to block damage everywhere at all times. You might not even need food with any style if you take this, if you get your prayer flicks down perfectly, and even if you don't, you're also going to have Soul Split always up at the same time. And as well, you are going to be able to bring, I guess, a few more pieces of food to certain encounters just in emergencies, because you're not going to need to bring like a Sign of Life, and you're not going to need to bring any prayer. This also could have a few niche uses at some skilling places where you use prayers like Chronicle Attraction and also Superheat Form, but they are already incredibly cheap prayers to use. But yeah, a very interesting one today. Let me know if you're going to be a prayer enjoyer, a book buyer, or I can't think of a pun for the third one. Bye.